Hello, feminists. Lovely we were able to sit down and have this little chat. Now, I'm told you all subscribe to the dictionary definition of feminism, and we all know how important it is to make sure we label ourselves correctly. I'm even told, because I believe in the ideal of equality under the law and equality of opportunity, that I am a feminist by definition. I'm not sure how that works, because I definitely do not support many of the group truths and echo chamber logic that you and other feminists seem to think are real. One of my particular favourites in this particular echo chamber is the misogyny/misandry dichotomy. You insist that the minutest perceived slight by men towards women is the indicator of rampant misogyny and patriarchy, while also insisting that its opposite, misandry, simply does not exist. Apparently, for misandry to exist, there needs to be both power and privilege on the part of the person making the supposedly misandric statement, of which, of course, you insist women do not have any of. But actually it doesn't say that in the dictionary definition, and as stated before, we all know how important dictionary definitions are. In the Oxford Dictionary, misandry is defined as the dislike of, contempt for, or ingrained prejudice against men, i.e. the male sex. There is no mention of power or privilege there. However, that's okay. I don't really care if you're misandric in what you say. You're entitled to say whatever you wish to say. But of course, I am too. That's a privilege we both have. It would just be simpler, however, if you dropped the facade of not being misandric and simply said you were. Everybody knows it. It's like you've been caught with a mouthful of chocolate cake and then denied you're eating it. It's simply stupid. Everybody sees it. You may as well own up. In any case, speaking of privilege, that's another interesting concept. Again, let us consult the Oxford Dictionary. This defines privilege as a special right, advantage, or immunity granted to or available only to a particular person or group. In this context, you feminists seem to use it because you believe that somehow every male person on this planet has some sort of special advantage or right or immunity that no female has. As patently ridiculous as that is, considering there are many privileged women and many unprivileged males, and privileged males and unprivileged women, and I've looked and looked, and I can't find in my country, or any representative of the rest of the Western world, any instance under the law that men have any particular advantage over women that women don't have. And that's a good thing, yes? Seems that you won that one. It's all good. But strangely, I found quite a number of instances where the opposite is true, not only in the actual law but in the practice of it. Just for example, gender quotas for employment, or really anything else for that matter that has quotas based on gender. These quotas are by their very nature advantageous for women. They are special right simply for being female. That would put the privilege on the female side, not the male side. And that can't be equality by your definition of feminism, can it? That an equally qualified woman and an equally qualified man do not have the equal opportunity to get a job simply because of their sexual equipment is not equality. Even more so, a less qualified woman may get the job simply to fulfill the quota system from a more qualified male. Why would anybody wish to employ someone who's lesser qualified, unless they were forced to by a privilege right, an advantage given to one group over another simply because of sexual equipment that you're born with? I'd really be interested to see where and how males have this privilege that you claim. And please, no metaphysical, unprovable claims. No showing an imbalance in the number of women in selected positions. These are feelings, not realities. The numbers that exist in existing positions are to do with the choices that people make. They've got nothing to do with anything being restricted, biased, or otherwise, else there would be no women in those positions. Not one. The fact that there is people in those positions of whatever gender that you happen to go with proves that there is no gender bias in employment. If the opportunities are equal and the desire to get the job is equal, then the numbers will be relatively equal. It's that simple. Show me where there are real rules, real laws that discriminate against women. Show me where there is actual bias provable by fact. If you can't do that, accept that women have equal opportunity, and in many cases they have better opportunities than men. Therefore your claims of privilege are without basis completely. But enough generalisation. Can we be a bit more specific for the moment? Recently it was announced that the American National Organization for Women was giving out their annual Courage Award. Fantastic. Who'd get that? Maybe a female astronaut, firefighter, or a police officer, or something of this nature, who had performed her duty far and above what may be expected from a normal person. No, it wasn't. The award went to Emma Solkowitz. Emma Solkowitz, in case you don't know, is also known as Mattress Girl. She is a woman who, in an American college, falsely accused a male student of raping her, was proven to be a complete and utter liar as far as this particular accusation was concerned, and then, even after she was shown to be a patent liar, carried around a mattress for the rest of her term there at the university, protesting and harassing this person that she accused of raping her, who didn't rape her, didn't have anything to do with raping her, never even touched her. Apparently, according to the National Organization for Women, this is courage. Lying in the face of truth, falsely accusing a man of rape, destroying his life, sullying his reputation for the rest of his life, is courage. She did this because she wanted an extension on one of her assessments and thought she'd do this to get an extension. That was the reason that she ruined this person's life, and this is apparently courage, according to the National Organization for Women. As you can tell, that incenses me beyond belief. There are women in this world who do magnificent work, who are above and beyond what could be expected from any person, and yet And yet, this lying person is awarded this prestigious award. The only courage that she shows, and it's not courage anyway, is fronting up and saying, "Oh, thank you for that," when she should be hanging her head in shame. The National Organisation for Women should be condemning this person for the lying sack of whatever that she is, and for wasting resources better used for real victims of sexual violence, be they male or female. And there's plenty of those that need help. Speaking of real victims, I've noted recently a story about an actual victim of rape who has declared that this heinous act is not going to be the defining moment of her life. She's moving forward and putting that behind her, and that her rape was not the fault of any form of fantasy rape culture or toxic masculinity. She made some bad choices, and where she shouldn't have, and she was where she shouldn't have been at the wrong time. Yes, there is no doubt she should not have been raped. This is a terrible crime. However, she herself says that she made the choice to be in a place where she knew that type of outcome was a definite possibility given the circumstances that she was in. She knew what she was getting into. She went there anyway. Again, she should not have been raped, but she's taken the responsibility of what mistakes she made and taken that away from her victimhood. She knows what she did wrong. The backlash from the feminist community from her statement was overwhelming and horrendous, calling her names and accusing her of things far worse than the rape itself. This behaviour is normally reserved for apostates, people leaving a particularly savage religion or cult, and that does not surprise me at all. To maintain these views of rape culture and toxic masculinity in the face of overwhelming evidence that neither of them exist in any way in the Western world has to be one of blind obedience to a dogmatic ideology that will not and cannot accept any truth but its own. Anybody speaking out opposing these views is by necessity labelled as an unbeliever, an apostate, and must be silenced. This woman is a rape victim. She is exactly the sort of person that feminists should be supporting in whatever way she deals with her rape, in whatever way she tries to recover. And yet no, she is condemned. She is pilloried because she doesn't follow that victim mentality, the toxic masculinity, the rape culture myths that feminists absolutely need to believe in. Let's step back from that abyss for a moment and take a look back to the beginning. According to what you say, equality is your goal. All very well, and under the law I think we can say that you have this. In the Western world, no law discriminates because of gender. None. Not one. Except for the benefit, when the benefit is on the female side, like the enforced quota systems. There is no block other than your own personal ability for the opportunities your life can bring. So you also have opportunity or equality of opportunity as well. Even more so if we look again at these enforced gender quotas. There is no difference in the hourly rates for wages for the same job doing the same work at the same time of day. In the Western world, there are laws that make this illegal. It is against the law if somebody attempts to pay you less than the going hourly rate for the wage or for the job that you do, then you can go to your government department and they will charge them. It's very simple. If your wage is set, minimum wage or whatever, if your wage is set by an award, then it is illegal to pay a female less than a male. No debate. That's it. There is an earnings gap, but that has nothing to do with the type of job you do. Being the same job as a male. The earnings gap is there because of different choices of employment that women tend to make as against what males tend to make. Males are more job focused. Women are more home focused. That's their choice. This is not males forcing anybody to do anything. This is simply a choice that women tend to make. If you do not want to make that choice, if you want to go ahead, enter the corporate world and bash on regardless like a man does, then you will find that your pay is exactly the same or relatively that way. So it would seem that the tenets of feminism, as you define it in your dictionary definition, have been satisfied, at least in these instances. Lastly, let's look forward, shall we? We are now and always have been a sexually dimorphic species. In other words, in the main, there are two sexes. There are male and female. There are variations on this, however, in the broad spectrum of life, that's the way it is. This is not going to change in any hurry. And it should be in the best interest of the species as a whole that we attempt to get along at least as well as we can. Western women have never in history had more of freedom or opportunity to live as they wish. Never before have they been more safe and protected than they are right now. If I might suggest, if you are not happy in your life and something seems not to be as you want, but you can't identify what that is, please stop blaming men for that problem. You aren't helping the solution, nor contributing to the advancements of society by deliberately alienating one half of it. Think about that for a little while. Try to be rational about it. Men do not want to deny you what you want to achieve. I have never, ever in my life heard a man say, we need to hold women back, ever. Rather, and this is the main point that you need to understand, men overwhelmingly want to help you and stand with you as you achieve. They want to be by your side when you take that award and say, we helped with that. She helped us with this. We are together. But if you hate men, if you are misandric and spit in their face every time for reasons that they cannot see or comprehend simply because they are male and you believe you are being oppressed, this is what will happen. Men will say, fine, go ahead, enjoy yourself. And we'll stop trying to help. We'll stop trying to assist. In fact, we won't do anything. And ultimately, that will make the species fail, because we are a sexually dimorphic species and we have no choice in this. We must work together. So, look at your dogma, look at your ideology, look at real figures, look at where you are as to where you were 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Consider where you've got to and go, and make real choices about real things, not feelings, rational choices, and come back together. It is the only way forward. Thank you.